Revisited by John Locke. Introduction. They sat in an Antwerp garden for hours in the afternoon sun, as philosopher-sailor Giles Hythloday fulfilled his promise to Thomas More and his friend Peter Giles to provide a detailed account of the New World island of Utopia, all things relating to their soil, their rivers, their towns, their people, their manners, constitution, laws. And as the sun began to set and his story drew to a close, Hythloday grew quiet and looked to his new friend, Mr. More, for his reaction. More considered his options. He had listened intently and had refrained from asking too many questions for fear of disrupting the old man's train of thought. Inside the tavern, servants were lighting lamps and readying the evening meal. More could see Raphael was tired. So was he. More writes, "So taking him by the hand, I carried him to supper, and told him I would find out some other time for examining this subject more particularly, and for discoursing more copiously upon it. And indeed I shall be glad to embrace an opportunity of doing it." And on that note the trio sat down to dinner, and Thomas More, the author, never penned that subsequent conversation. Prologue, Part 1. An Unkindness at Dawn. A thin ribbon of crimson on the eastern horizon illuminated iridescent feathers as dark as a vein of coal. Torches smoldered and sputtered in their sconces along the stone walkway. The ravens stirred in the surrounding trees, crusty voices announcing the coming of the light. Immediately they began to vie for strategic advantage in their constant vigil for a morsel of flesh, or anything edible. They had been attracted to this place for centuries, since the first invading imperial Roman forces piled the human remains of those who challenged their might on the banks of the Thames. The ravens patrolled the skies above the tower, from first to last light, attracted by the promising, pungent odor of torture and death that emanated from every gap in the massive stone walls. But not one raven would dare scavenge the tower grounds without first paying homage to the 7 brothers. As on all mornings, the 7 raven brothers looked on as the relieved mid-watch guards shuffled off to the barracks, their armor clanking against leather. Alder, the eldest, spied a chunk of bread as it fell to the ground from the careless fingers of one of the off-going watchmen. He nudged Ald, his double-yoked twin. Bishop was poised to take flight, but thought better of it. He nodded to Ald, who swooped down and planted sharp talons into the dry and crumbling bread. He devoured half in 3 lightning-fast pecks, bringing the rest back to Alder. Cripple and Ludd fluffed their feathers in silent protest, but no one argued with Alder. New and Moore were still asleep. "Whilst the rest of you were snoring," Alder sneered, still gulping the last of the crusted bread, "I saw the king's guard escort a new prisoner into the bell tower." Ald had settled once again on the branch next to Alder. Cripple quickly picked a lingering crumb from the side of Ald's beak. Ald gave Cripple a swift peck and turned to his twin. "And who, pray tell, is this new prisoner?" "He is someone with whom we are all quite familiar, as it is because of him that we were able to feast on many a heretic's corpse in years past." Ludd looked down from a branch above. "You mean Moore?" he croaked, as he cleared the night's dampness from his gullet. "What?" said Moore, who was only now stirring. Ludd squawked. "No, not you, idiot. Thomas More, the former Lord Chancellor." "Yes, Sir Thomas More himself." Alder picked at an unlucky beetle who happened to crawl between his feet. He arrived whilst the bats still toiled in the light of the torches. He came with trunks of books, tapestries, and furniture, even a servant. It appears he will be with us for quite some time. "But eventually, I suppose," Ald added, "he will leave in the same fashion as most of the King's Tower guests." Ludd sighed. "It is a pity. When he was in charge, so many of Luther's followers were tenderized on the rack, and even after they roasted at the stake, they had ample flesh still on their bones." Cripple bobbed his head in agreement. "Much
Sample complete. Ready to continue?"